Okay, so my aim today is to try to demonstrate or to try to tell you that you can have a better life if you start practicing strategic games from your early childhood. How I'm going to do this? Because I'm going to try two things. First thing I'll try to demonstrate is the strategic games provide you a better thinking process, and that means that you will be able to do a strategic planning in a better way. Strategic planning is always the same. I mean, independently that you are running business or trying to get a better fiancé in your life, strategic is always the same. Having an objective, the clearer the objective is, the better. Knowing your resources, what are the resources that you have to achieve this objective, and trying to save as much as possible, I mean, not to waste resources. And then execution your plan. I mean, what you want, how are you going, and then the plan to achieve it with the maximum flexibility. I mean, I'm sure, I would like to be sure that today we agree with this, but I want to add something that it was my experience, and I strongly trust in it. Is the strategic planning helps you also in improve your psychology, and helps you also to respect others, starting from your rivals or your opponents, but also in general to respect people and to become more flexible. And also as a result of this, you become more human and happier as a result of all of this. So how strategic games improve your thinking process? I am going to use one of the Mind Sports Olympiad games, the Blocus, to try to demonstrate this. Blocus is a game that you play in a board, let's see, in a square board, 4 players, 4 colors, with 21 tiles. These tiles are like Tetris ones, a square, from 1 square, 2 squares, 3, 4, 5, all kinds of combination of squares. And the only rule that this game has is that you have to join your tiles through the corners. You cannot put it together through the sides, but you have to join the pieces through the corners, and then the player who takes out most of the 21 tiles and most of the squares wins. So first thing that helps us is to organize your mind. And as you can see now, you approach to this Blocus game at the beginning of the game, and you see how the 4 players organize the tiles. And then you can see a player who has organizing tiles from bigger to smaller, from smaller to bigger, and one from bigger to smaller, but according to the different sizes. And on top you can see the red one, who is not organized mind. So this is very clear as soon as you approach to see how this game, or how the mind of the strategy game approaches to this game. Second important thing is focusing on key points. As many games, most important thing is occupying the center, as in politics, occupying the center faster than the rest and becoming flexible, because center means that you can go wherever you want faster than anybody, so logistics. In this case we have a position, and then yellow has to play, and all players have tried, you see yellow, blue and green have tried to invade the center, to occupy the center. And in the meantime, the red player has been playing somehow, not trying to do the right key points. But the yellow one not only occupying, but trying to invade, trying from the center, trying to invade. A third point will be to get a balance between defend and attack. It is always the same in any kind of battle, and let's see how. We have the former position, and then blue can play here or can play here. if you play here, you are just defending from yellow and green and has no implication in trying to invade the rest of the board. But if you play here, you are only trying to stop the yellow, but there is the possibility to invade through the corner on the top left of the blue. Okay, so respecting the natural flow or allowing your ego to take decisions. This is something happening too much, that you leave yourself to take decisions because of things apart from what you are doing. I mean, because you are against one opponent, or you are angry that day, or whatever. And so, let's see, as I told you before, the blue has the opportunity to invade the center, and then still with that marked blue tile trying to invade more. But there is another possibility, is trying to block the yellow and even the red to invade his own position. In this case, blue does this because has something against the red player. So trying to damage this player is doing something wrong against himself. And this is very typical, leaving the ego to take your decisions instead of controlling. 5, deciding between short-term and long-term benefits. For example, in this case, you can place a tile with a lot of points, a lot of squares, 5 at the most, or you can put a smaller piece, a smaller tile with only 1 or 2 squares, but with high potential. So what is better for you? For example, in this situation, yellow has just played that one piece in the center, and blue has 2 alternatives. One is to put the biggest tile he has, 5 squares, or just 1. And thinking short term, putting a 5 squares tile is better because you take more squares out of you. I mean, you have less to put at the end. But if you think globally and you think in the future, now in this situation, blue has only to take care from yellow because red and green are blocked. So if blue will have to think in the future, so it is much better to block yellow from developing his position than to try to put a 5 squares tile. So thinking in the future, even if short term is less good for you, it is much better to think short term your best local decision, but long term is not maybe is not the best. Okay, and enjoy, and I say learning from strong rivals or just suffering from life injustice. I mean, when your rival is doing something strong against you, many of us, we just think, oh God, why this guy is always trying to destroy me or to kill me, or why, instead of thinking, oh, let's think about this position, what can I learn from this position, and if in the future I can use this information from my own. So suffering from, I would say that there are 2 kinds of players. The ones who like suffering and the ones who suffer suffering. And I strongly defend the players or the people who like suffering. I mean, who like others in a competition doing their best to win, and so for them to try to look for the best. If they play weakly, then it's easy to win, etc., easy to do your best. But if they play strongly, then you have to take your best to go on. And the last thing, to become more flexible. You will see throughout the whole presentation, flexibility. There is something that I have learned with my own experience. I was not flexible at all when I was 15, when I was 20, when I was 25, when I was 30. I mean, I have learned to become flexible throughout the years, and it is something that it is not easy, but I strongly defend flexibility as one of the keys to become stronger in games, but stronger in life, I mean happier. Well, this is the end of story, and I think this is not relevant. How a good thinking process, now, if all agree, strategic games, good thinking process. So now, how a good thinking process set the basis for strategic planning. And I will use another game of the MSO, the Stratego. A Stratego is a game with a board. There are two teams, two armies, and there are soldiers from point 1 to point 10, I mean a scale of strength. From the bottom, the least strong, the 1, and the strongest, the 10. And the objective is to take the flag of the opponent, and there are some barriers or bombs to defend it. Okay, this game, the basics of this game is learning the relative or the progressive value of resources. We were talking about resources, and saving resources all of the time is very important. Also in attack, also in defense. Knowledge is power. Investing in knowledge is worthwhile. So if you sacrifice your soldiers number 1 and number 2 to obtain information about where is the number 8 and the number 9 and the number 10, it's very important. So
just to clarify, it's a game where you can't see your opponent's pieces; they're hidden. So only when they touch you get to see them. So you mean by sacrificing?
Oh, sorry, thank you. Yeah.
By sacrificing, you sometimes will sacrifice weak pieces just so you can see what the opponent has.
Okay.
Sorry.
So sacrificing pounds of you cannot take information. And this relation between knowledge, power, I mean, I think this is quite clear. This picture. Okay. More with the Stratego, a bit more advanced. Balancing between trusting opponent moves and risking something to prove it. And most of the strategic players know that the threat has more value than execution. And many times you will have to trust your opponent what he's doing, or many times you will have to invest things to demonstrate yourself that that is really risky or that is just a bluff. Going a step further than rival and how levels of thought influence your decision making. We will see an example. What is level of thoughts? Level of thoughts is trying to advance what your opponent is going to do after your play. I mean, guessing how he's going to respond. And many times we say, oh, I know that he's going to do something, but as he's going, what I'm going to respond, so I know that he knows that I know that he knows. Where is the end of the I know that he knows that I know that he knows? So, next, safety versus predictability. Following the rules of proving strength. Proving strength is you have to waste as least resources as possible. So if you can take a 3 with a 4, it is better than to take it with an 8, because you are providing information. So sometimes you have to risk something to become more flexible and less predictable. If you always try to look for a 3 with a 4, when you approach, he will know that this is 4. And if he does the same, so let's see these levels of thought. I mean, we have the B, we have a bomb. So the opponent has got that this is a bomb because he has got some piece against the bomb, and then the bomb is still there, but your piece disappears. Okay, so the blue player knows that there is a bomb on the B. The bomb is the number 2, so only the number 3 can destroy the bomb. So you know that the number 3 is going to come to destroy your bomb. So then you have a 4 trying to defend the number 3 that is coming. As your opponent is clever, he knows that you are going to save as much as possible, so he will defend his 3 with a 5. So you will have ready a 6 to destroy the 5, and he will have a 7 to destroy your 6, and so on. This is the normal way of doing things, to save as much as possible. But levels of thought means that as blue knows that you are going to defend with a 4, and he is going to attack with a 5, and you are going to attack or defend with a 6, then don't attack the 4 with a 5, attack with a 6. So your 6 has no value. And then, in case of attacking his 6 with an 8, he has the 9 prepared. So he went 1 pass forward. But the red is not silly, so he also goes 1 step further. So when you attack the bomb with the 3, instead of attacking the 3 with a 4, he attacks with a 7. So the 6 has no more value. So the opponent has to attack with the 8 that it was there. So the 9 or the 10 is there to destroy the opponent. And so where is the limit? The limit will be attack the bomb with the 3 and then defend with the 10. So where is the limit of levels of thought? Levels of thought is something really important in any kind of confrontation, business. I mean, advancing what your opponent is going to do. And this is very important in strategic games. Okay, tactics. Learning tricky play. Looking like something but aiming for a different goal. Something really, really important. Psychology, the ability to anticipate opponent moves and becoming more flexible. And in this case, this game, flexibility means if you are flexible, you are unpredictable. If you are not flexible, your opponent will know all of the times your moves. As Ethan said before, your pieces are hidden. He only sees the part with no numbers. The numbers are facing you. But any move you are making, your opponent will know, because he can anticipate, because you are predictable. So this is a big mistake, not having risks. For example, in this case, there is a battle between blue and red on the right. It's an important battle, but blue is scared about the piece with the question mark. And then the only safe way for blue to try to know what is going on with this question mark piece is he starts something that looks like important on the left side. And in the end, this piece with the number 2, that is explorer, he can move whatever he wants in the straight line. Then with these 2, instead of fighting against the red on the left side, he wants to know information. He pushes against the question mark red. So looks like that blue was trying to do something important on the left, but the real truth was trying to have information on the right. So many times you have to take care of the opponent intentions, just trying to avoid another potential meanings behind. Strategic planning. There are 3 steps for strategic planning. First one is having an objective. If we don't have an objective, we cannot do anything. Any marketing manager, general manager, whatever. Anyone starting something, if has no clear mind about what is he wanted, problems. In strategic games, exactly the same. Okay, I'm going to have, I want to share with you learnings from top level competition. And I'm going to put a case from a chess tournament. Imagine that you are in a chess tournament in the round 9 and last one, and you are first in the table. You are alone, and you are half a point ahead of 3 players tied at the second place. If you win, 1 more point. If you tie, half a point. If you lose, 3 points. Okay, you play with one of the 3 that are right behind you. And after 20 moves, you have a slight better position. Nothing definite, but you are a little bit better. And your opponent at that moment maybe he's nervous or he's scared that he's going to lose, and he offers you a draw. And then you look at the other two players, the tie breaks, just in case you tie, and tie-break system with the player 3rd and 4th benefits you. So that's clear. And that if you accept the draw, you win the tournament for sure. But you can also keep playing, trying to improve your score, because you think that you are better than your opponent. And I want to know how many of you will decide, okay, I want to continue, or I will accept and I win. So please tell me, raise your hand, how many of you will accept the draw and win in the tournament? Well, most of you. Only a very few will keep playing. Okay, I'm going to change the situation, and let's see if a different objective will come up with a different result in your mind. Case 1B, same tournament, same position, but in case of winning this final game, you will receive the title of Great Master in chess, which you have been fighting for a long time. Then, accepting the draw and winning the tournament, you will not achieve the Great Master title. If you keep playing and fighting for your long-term dream goal, maybe you win and you have the Great Master title, but maybe you lose. How many of you will accept the draw and win the tournament? Raise your hand, please. Oh, not so many. So, many fighters here. Okay, good. But we have one more case. If you win the game, the title you really get is the youngest ever Great Master in history. So, how many of you will accept the draw and win the tournament, but not achieving the Great Master in history? The youngest ever. So, you all will fight. Okay. So, in the beginning, you will accept winning the tournament, but now that there is an important goal behind, all of you have decided not to say, okay, good. Well, this is the real youngest ever Great Master in history, Sergei Karyakin, 12 years, 7 months, and 0 days. It's important, the 0 days, because sometimes a few days difference have become the youngest one. Okay. But we have one more. I mean, we haven't talked about money. And money is important in the top level. So we have a prize list like this. And we will see afterwards. There are 6 players tied in the 5th place. I mean, from 6th to 10th. And they play among them. In case of losing your game, you can go down from 1st place to 6th place, due to bad breaks, vital breaks with several of those players. Then, what do you decide? Let me show you. So you have 8 points, second 7.5, third and fourth 7.5, and 6 players with 7 points. First prize, $1 million. Second prize, 600,000, 400,000, up to 6th prize, 100,000. So then, accepting the draw, you will win for sure the $1 million prize, but you not get the Great Master title. Now, keep playing, you fight for your goal, but you race to reduce your earnings to $100,000. So, raise your hand, how many will accept the draw for $1 million? Okay, most of you. Okay, but we have one more case. The fact is that you have already the Great Master title, but your rival, in case of winning, will become the youngest ever. Your rival, not you. The youngest ever Great Master in history. In fact, he's your best friend. Best friend, beforehand, he asks you, please, let me win. Now, how many of you will accept losing against your best friend, but against your will also, because you don't like to lose, but supporting your best friend? Or how many? Okay, how many will accept losing? Raise your hand.
Is the $1 million still involved?
No, not yet. Not yet.
It's only, in this case, the question is, you
I mean,
accept losing because of your friend
Yeah, no money.
or not? No money
no
involved.
money. It's a big-
Maybe,
How many will accept losing?
maybe.
Doubts. No way. Okay. Okay, so I want to know how many of you have maintained the same decision through all the cases, because this is here to understand the different objectives mean different strategies, different plans, different decisions. I mean, same situation, exactly the same technical situation. I mean, chessboard, you are a little slight better than the opponent, but the global situation is not the same. Your goal is not the same. How many of you decided keep playing all of the times, the 5 times? Nobody. Okay, well, I wanted to put one more case just for fun, and I want to share with you. I know the result of this question. Your rival is not your friend. I mean, he's going to be the youngest ever, but it is not your friend. But he has a so strong sponsor that offers you $5 million to lose your game. Then, do you accept losing for my $1 million and winning a healthy life forever? How many of you will accept losing for $5 million? Well, I knew that. I knew it. Anyone didn't raise your hand? I think that you didn't raise. Okay, good.
I can't decide. I don't want, so.
Okay.
But the money, 5 million. I mean.
Okay. Well, the important thing is think this way. As any strategic planner, having an objective completely changes your way of thinking, a way of planning, a way of deciding. Different objectives mean different decisions. Okay, second step to strategic planning, resources management. And we have talked about resources, so saving resources. I will use another MSO game, Mastermind. Mastermind is a game where you have 2 players. One has to make a code and the other one has to break the code. Codes are with colors, 4 or 5 colors. In this case we use a picture of 5 colors, but I think the name, so we use 4 colors. It doesn't matter. I mean, just making codes and breaking codes.
8 colors.
No, but 4 out of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, here is 5 out of 8. Okay, no problem. You get information through you are asking questions, and your opponent is giving answers through information. You have such a number of colors right, but not well placed, or you have such a number of colors right, but well placed. Okay, the learnings from the Mastermind, the techniques to decide are pure. I mean, they're in theory must be only one decision in any situation. Its selection depends on the situation, and probability diagrams help us to decide. We will see afterwards one of these. First move makes a difference, because being first in code breaking, you don't know how many moves your opponent is going to last to break your own code afterwards. But if you are second, then your opponent has break the code in 6 or 5 or 7 moves. So you know now, I have...
Because you take turns, and whoever breaks faster wins.
The break maker is afterwards the break code, code breaker, and so on, okay?
All on the same board.
All on the same board. Yeah, first you make a code and the other player has to break it. Then at the end, 7 or whatever number of moves, then he is code maker, you don't know it, and you try to find what is the code, breaking it with, some kind of moves. So the one who uses less moves is the winner. So now you have decisions like this one. On the first line, you take one decision, with this color, blue, and then there is only one more step. If you take the right decision, then you will have 2 different steps. And if you take the green decision, then there are 3 alternative steps. I mean, deciding this is very easy because you only have one choice. I mean, and second step will be sure, will be safe. But this is not happening in Mastermind. Sometimes you have to decide between similar things or between, well, more difficult things, easiest thing. You will use also always the easiest thing. But many times you have to play for winning or losing. I mean, one way has such lines and the other way has lines, and so there is no possibility to tie. You can fight also to at least tie. I mean, you have something safe that, okay, in 3 I get the same number than my opponent, but I can get it in 2 or even in 1. So this is playing for at least tie. You always have to have follow-up plans. If there is a very long version of the tree, but you can use that version and at the same time asking something for a shorter version, maybe you can take the longer tree, but in case you have been wrong, then using that information for the shorter tree. Okay, and when the situation is desperate, this is the same in all games. Desperate situations require desperate measures. Okay, for example, this is a much more complicated tree of decisions, and okay, doesn't matter. More things about Mastermind: influence of psychology, color selection, the duplicity. I mean, you can choose the same color 2 or 3 times in the same code. The order, I mean, you use the white outside and white and yellow and black and blue inside, or just the contrary, or you do the flag of your country. I mean, there are many things that you can use as psychology to choose the colors. Going a step further than rival, do you remember Levels of Thought? This happens here. And in this game, flexibility is interesting and maybe important, but most important thing is accuracy. I mean, we were talking about resources, we were talking about saving resources, so accuracy in calculating, in deciding exactly the best decision in every moment is something really important, and in this game you can do it. Okay, third step for strategic planning with the plan execution is flexibility. I told you before that I am a strong defender of flexibility, and for this story I'm going to use Entropy game from the MSO. Entropy is a game where you play in a board 7x7, a square board 7x7, with 49 tiles, 7 colors, 7 tiles of each color. The objective of the game is to build up symmetries, and 2 players, 1 player is called Order, who is the responsible to build up symmetries, and the other player plays as Chaos. Chaos tries to avoid that the Order player builds up good symmetries, long symmetries, more point symmetries. And there are 2 games. First one player is Order and the other player is Chaos, and the second one, the first player is Chaos and the second one is Order. The one who builds up more points in symmetries all over is the winner. So this is Entropy. What do I need to win? This is a question that we can ask for. Average point per game. If you are Order first, you don't know how many points your opponent is going to do, so you are in a worse shape. I mean, I prefer always to be Chaos and knowing how many points my opponent is going to do. But I will say that 84 points is the average, then in a tournament like this will be enough to win. It's average. I mean, you can lose with 95 points or you can win with 72. But, okay, average point per line. This is, you can think 7 lines horizontal, 7 lines vertical. maybe think about how many points should I do by line. So dividing 84 between 14, it will be something like 6 points average per line. Average point per pound, per tile. We have 7 by 7, 49, so that will be something like 1.6, 1.7 points per tile. Well, this will be something very rational. Entropy players never think like this. Never, never ever. How do I think when I play entropy? I have different objectives for different stages. Opening the first 15 to 20, 21 moves, I say there, I only look for a structure. I mean, to look for a nice overall structure. Middle game, between 21 and 42 moves, I only want interconnectivity. Interconnectivity of your tiles. I mean, interconnectivity means that they can build more symmetries in the future. Maybe they have already made symmetries, but they have the potential to create symmetries in the future. And ending, last 7 moves. Last 7 moves are accurate counting, the only thing interesting. I mean, you have to know everything about the game. 7 moves, you have to know what are the tiles, what are the colors, how many points you have, etc., how many points you need, etc., etc. Accurate counting. For example, opposite aims, blocking versus unblocking. In entropy, there is this position, for example, is an example, and you can see green 2 points, a symmetry of 2, blue 3 points, a symmetry of 3, then black a symmetry of 4, and red a symmetry of 2, and then down pink or purple, sorry, a symmetry of 5 plus 3, and plus 3, it will be something like 11, and then 3 from white, 14. That adds up 25. You can have the same position, but looking at the difference. This position, exactly the same number of points. 25 points, 25 points. But 25 points, first one, were unblocked. Completely. I mean, mobility, flexibility, space, etc. And the second ones were completely blocked. What do you think will be most better? Unblocked. Okay, good. Second thing, balancing a structure with points. I mean, in strategic games and also in any kind of strategy, there is something really important. It's the comparison between the tangible things and the subtle things. This is beautiful. What we like in strategic games, we like this. How to convert tangible things and subtle things and vice versa. Okay, a structure, intangible in terms of money, points, etc. And points, concrete. You have to have equilibrium flow along the game between both. For example, then a red tile is coming out of a bag. I didn't say you that all the tiles are in a bag and they are going out one by one without knowing what was the color. So if you want just 2 points, you only have to do this, going up or going down. And then a structure of 2 tiles together, same color, 2 points. But I will do this display, 0 points at this moment. But with this potential, coming here, 3 points with the red on the side, and maybe 5 points if I am able to build up a new blue tile there. The goodness of this play is that if the opponent avoids us to going up, you can go down, and then having the same 3 points with the red and 5 more potential, not real, points with the red, with the green one. Okay, so what do you prefer? 2 points sure with some kind of lack of mobility, or 0 points with 3 more sure in the next future, close next future, and maybe 5 more potentially, but lots of mobility, flexibility. What would you prefer, 2 points? Okay, no one. Thank you. Good, good. And the value of initiative, block in the center. Okay, we have seen this image before. We know that it's 25 points. Now, we are going to compare this situation. You have 24 more points with this cross in the middle, 14 points in the middle, 8 plus 3 plus 3, and 10 more points vertical, 7 green and 3 red. Okay, I want to compare this with this. Okay, and let's see. In the last position, we will have 24 extra points, sure, that will be 25 plus 24, 49 in total, but blocking the whole position. And the other is 0 extra points, but with total flexibility. How many of you would prefer the 49 points in total, but the position blocking? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay, in my case, I will definitely choose the second one. I mean, this position, I mean, has much more points and is closer to the 84 that I said before. In fact, it's only 35 points away. But the thing with this position is that any tile you change from this position, you will lose points. Any tile, you will lose immediate points. And the opponent, any tile picking up, can put it in a position that you cannot build immediate points with this. So you will have to move, and then the opponent will be settling pieces that you cannot build up anything with them. So flexibility is really, really, really important. It's what I defend, not only in this game, but in strategic games and in life. Counting, accurate job, enough to win. 7 points. 10 are not enough to win. And I have the position, and the opponent picks up the yellow tile and he settles there. And then you have to think, first of all, you have to know exactly fast, what is out of there. I mean, what are the 3 tiles that are not there? And then immediately you see that there are 2 reds, 1 black. This is absolutely normal for the entropy players. We know, at this moment, we all know how many, not how many tiles, sorry, what is the color of the pending tiles. Okay, 2 reds, 1 black. At this moment that you know what is pending, then you can decide, because then if you do this, 3 points for sure, then you know that your ideal situation will be to settle this black here, because that will be 5 points plus 2, 7 points. And if you do that, then the opponent will be able, whatever you do, will be able to settle the black here or here. So there is no way to do the 7 points black. But if you, I mean, in this case, it will be 3 points black, 3 points, 5 points with this, 3 plus 2, 3 points already with the yellow, and 2 more here. So 5 and 3, 8, and 2, 10. So there is no way I got my aim of 11 points. But if I put the yellow on the left, 0 points. But then you can get your aim. It is to settle the black down. Wherever the opponent settles this black, you will go down. And then the other 2 reds. So that will mean 7 points for the black and 4 points for the red. Even if you have 0 points for the yellow, you can obtain your aim. Flexibility and counting. Okay, luck. You can say, oh, this is a lucky game, or game of luck, because it depends on the color of the tile you take out. You can win or you can lose in a situation. It's true. But you can also put the luck working for you. And I will put a sample. This is the same situation than before, but with 4 tiles less. And you must know immediately well, especially if you leave this situation is because you know what is going to happen and what is pending. And you know that there are 3 reds, 2 purple, 1 white and 1 red. This is the ideal situation that you would like to count as much as possible. But suddenly a white tile is being out from your opponent. And your opponent decides to make a gift to you. I mean, the white could be in many places, not counting for even 1 point. But he decides to put up there. Always in any kind of competition, always that your opponent has a gift for you, you must think, what? That this gift is poison. I mean, it's not a gift. You must think immediately why this is giving something extra to me. And there is no way. I mean, in strategic planning, in strategic thinking, in competition, in business, in whatever, if the opponent makes an offer to you, it's because there is a better offer. And so, as we know, the tiles that are still pending, we think that this place will allow us to put a red out of 6. Is for sure that we will be able to put a red up there. And that means 7 points for the green, because it will be a completely symmetrical structure, and 5 points for the red. So 12 points only putting the red up there. So we will fight for this. How? Taking out the white up there and putting exactly the farthest possible situation. So this will be, I think there's 27 points in total. Okay, keeping mobility, flexibility all through. This is something that I think that is really, 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 really important. After talking about strategic planning, I would like to have 3 relations between strategic games and life. In this case, strategic games and education. And I would like to pick up the capacities, the abilities and the values of strategic games for kids. First one, analytical thinking. Second one, self-evaluation and critical analysis with himself, not only outside criticizing the opponents. Self-confidence, you can see it very clearly, the kids learning strategic games, how they can become stronger and stronger in any kind of decision. Intuition development, the more decisions you take in life under pressure, something inside you, intuition, is developed. Resilience to difficulties, of course, determination and perseverance to fight. Facing defeat is very important. I mean, I have seen so many kids losing and start crying and crying and crying for so long. And I think that once you are accustomed to do this, then you transform defeating in learning. And this is something great. Learning from errors, mainly your own ones. It is difficult to learn from errors from your opponent, because then that means that you will win. And normally when you win, you don't learn. You learn from your losing, not from your winning. And psychology, for sure, and respecting. I like this very much. When you have a strong opponent, I mean, if you're really strong and you have a strong opponent, you end up loving this opponent because he helps you to become better. So respecting the rivals when they make you suffer, that's good because they help. And flexibility. Okay, let's compare strategy games and business world. Well, first thing in business is having an objective. It's exactly the same thing in strategic games. And if you don't have an objective, problems for the company. And after having the objective, everything must be behind that objective. must be in harmony, total harmony in all decisions. All of them must go behind that objective. Second, managing resources accurately, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. This is really, really, really important. We will see afterwards that you have also to know your competitors' strengths and weaknesses to compare and to determine opportunities. Okay, third, marketplace, the rivals, the competition, however we want to name them. In-depth knowledge, research, elbows, thinking, hours, in-depth knowledge of your competitors. You cannot be the best if you don't know well your competitors. Balance of strengths and weaknesses. Not only balance of his, but balance between his strengths and your strengths, his weaknesses and yours, etc. And looking for opportunities always behind. And plan selection and execution. Looking for the right momentum. It's not the same waiting, not waiting, doing it round, etc. Tactics. One is trying to look your objective with a good strategy, but sometimes you need not to follow exactly your strategy. You are following the objective, but you have to do something completely different, tactics. And psychology, understanding, knowing your opponent, and flexibility, lots of flexibility. Third thing, learning from top level competition. Once you play strategic games, normally you end up doing top level competition. Resistance under pressure and suffering overcoming. I mean, when you're in business, taking decisions under pressure is something really important. In strategic games, top level competition, this is every single minute, every single second. I mean, taking decisions under lots of pressure, bad position, good rival, whatever. Reflex, instinct development. Instinct is something really, really important. Observation. Opponent's mood recognition. Psychology, accurate perception of the moment. Dynamic evaluation of weaknesses. And not only a static evaluation, but dynamic evaluation. Importance of initiative. A spirit of achievement, for sure. Once you are competing, and you are competing at a high level, you want to win. And this determination to win is really important. Objectivity, leaving the ego aside. This is really difficult. This is one of the most difficult things with the top level players. To leave the ego and to concentrate on what they are doing, forgetting about rivalities or problems at home, or my fiancé has left me yesterday, and things like that. I mean, and flexibility. I would like to raise a final topic for discussion, and is generalists versus specialists. Because today's world is a world looking like the world of a specialist. We are experts in this, in this, in this, in this, but I am provoking, and I am demanding, and I am defending generalist mind. And I think that in reality, even if this world looks like that is a specialist world, we in the future, our kids and even ourselves will have to work in completely different jobs. They say that between 7 and 10 different jobs, not different company, the same job, but different jobs throughout a 40 years career. So I strongly defend generalist thinking. And why? I'm going to put only the pros of the generalist, not the cons. First, curiosity for a wide range of fields. Open mind. The ability, well, this is a concept raised by, or mainly raised by Steve Jobs in a lecture he made in Stanford University in 2005, and he wanted to tell the university kids starting new life after ending that if he would have studied at the university typographies, X years afterwards, he would not be able to build up a so wonderful machine like Macintosh. He's saying this strong. I mean, this is not possible to do it forward, but this is possible to do it backwards, to recognize what moment in the past of your life have been key for you to take some decisions that build up to your current situation. Okay, the ability to connect the dots, not only in your life and your environment, but only in the company, in the society, etc. Sensible to new ideas, to improvement, to critics. Always looking for whys and hows. Natural builder upon defeats. I mean, they are not destroyed by defeats. They are happy of understanding and building up on defeats. Capable to anticipate trends and read the future. And normally they are better planner than executor. And they are flexible for sure. So, this is Andres Kosk. Andres Kosk is, several times Pentamind champion in the MSO. I call him a Metamind champion because for me he's a person with a really open mind and open acting, open behavior, open everything. And so that was why I put it there, and all fields open mind generalist. If I will be the CEO of a multinational, really big company, this is the kind of person that I would like to have on my right hand advising me on strategy. Independently of the field, independently of the situation, the tough situation, whatever, this is a person able to plan in whatever difficult situation what is the best alternative among all that you have, and maybe even inventing someone that you didn't thinking. Up to now, I haven't said a word about teamwork. But why? Because this is another story. Okay, any questions?
So, could you speak more about what your job was? Was it like within a school setting or
Yeah.
outside?
I created a project that now is being managed by that girl, Veronica, in the Canary Islands. And the project consists in out of the school, I mean after hours, we work with kids only school hours up to 2 o'clock or to 1 o'clock, and then lunch at 2 o'clock. And then from 4 to 8 o'clock we have classes being paid by parents, and we teach them in 1 hour and 15 minutes, several levels from 6 years to 12 years. We teach them how to think better through strategic games. This was created thanks to MSO. I was here 11 years ago, and just 1 year after I was marketing director in a big company in the Canary Islands, and I had an agreement with the company to leave, and I decided how to orientate my life, and I decided that teaching kids was the best for my happiness. I mean, the best way to be happy in the future. And it has been real. Now 10 years afterwards, I'm close to retirement, and Veronica is handling or managing this project in La Palma, very small island, 80,000 people in Canary Islands. Okay. Do you need anything more specific?
No.
Okay.
So how many kids are in the program? and
Well,
what
in
was
the
age
program,
and-
I have been working with about 600. So out of 80,000 is quite a large number. We have every year about 200, and we have about 4 monitors now, five, and we work in 16 schools and all over the island, and each one has 2 or 3 schools or 5 schools. Veronica is the one who has the most important schools and the bigger number of kids. In Spain, it has been approved this year to introduce the chess in all the schools. In the Canary Islands, it was approved something like 3 or 4 years, and it is not introduced yet. I mean, they have to form the teachers, and it is slow motion. But they have chess introduced in all the schools as like us, as a complementary activity, not a formal activity funded by the government, etc. Even if chess has a good, well, healthy support for a school, for chess teachers, can be paid by the local government, and we are not paid by the local government, but by the parents. But answering your question, chess is well supported, and it is becoming more and more and more important to be introduced in the structure of matters. I mean, the official structure of matters. But our project is a side project and not supported. Maybe funnier in terms of more diverse.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course, it's a, open mind.
yeah, same open mind, but with more tools.
Yeah,
The best game. All the games that you know, chess, Go,
Goodness.
entropy, etc.
Well,
If you had to pick one.
if I will have to pick one, I will say, Lego blocks. It's for 3 years, 2 years old,
Yeah.
4 years old. I mean, because spatial thinking can build many things behind. But more than any, from my point of view, more than any strategic game will be the music. I think that kids learning music change the mind. I mean, it's something really special. Strategic games are so good.
From what ages though?
We start with 6 years old to 12 years old, primary school, and we have 3 levels, first and second with 6 to 8, then third and fourth from 8, 9 to 10, 11, and then from 10 to 12 with 5th and 6th from primary school. Sometimes one parents ask, please, my kid, 5 years old, will you accept, and so on. And then we always say the same, let's try for 1 month. If it is working, we continue. If he is scared or nervous or under pressure or whatever, we will tell frankly, it is good for us, but it is not good for him. And so let's wait 1 more year, next year we will try.
Which game do you teach? Every or you have
We
special
play
games?
Tangram, we play Rush Hour, we play many for kids from 3rd degree to 6th degree. The games, most of them from ERSO, Stratego, Avalon, Othello, Blocus, Entropy. I mean, we have many games, but mainly from the MSO for the 8 to 12 years old.
All the kids.
Yeah. For kids, we have more basic games, strategic games. But I mean, I love Tangram. Tangram, I think is something. Catamino is also a wonderful game. Working for 1 year with a maths teacher and introducing our games in the teaching in the maths room as a side help for maths, and it was very useful. He was very happy at the end of the course with results with the kids. I don't think that this should be something apart or different, must be integrated. I mean, I think that is some kind of plus way of thinking to the current maths or whatever other. It's difficult. I think that the Stratego is a wonderful game for 8 years old kids. 10 years old, well, I think that very simple game, but very useful for everything in life is Avalon. Avalon means all your strengths together and control the center. Just that, so simple. I mean, maybe chess is the same. All your forces focusing in the same place and controlling the center. But this is so important in life. I mean, I think that having all the group, all the team group together, working for the same goal, and controlling the center, I mean, focusing on the main points, not on the sides, I think that will be another very important. And for the elder, I like bridge. I like bridge very much because you have to stand with a partner, and that is awful. I mean, no. It is the good part is that you have to share everything with the partner. You have to understand the partner. I mean, you have rules to build up the whole game, but you have not only to fight with the opponents or to understand and try to go over. You have to understand your partner, and understanding partner means teamwork, and I think teamwork is really important. It's a difficult game for me because I was not teamwork when I told you, when I was 15, 25, 35, but when I started working in advertising and I started working with creatives, with media players, with production people, with strategic planners, with research, then if the team didn't work, then no way to win anything. So teamwork is key, and I learned from that, and from that moment I changed my life and I converted myself in a teamwork player. And bridge helped me. So for older, I think the bridge is very important. Any more questions? Yeah?
Yeah, thanks, Paco.
I made many mistakes.
Recognizing the improvement
Yeah.
because of what you do.
Most important mistake I made in the first 2 years. I focus on trying to teach, trying for them to learn. Now I don't do that. My first duty is them to enjoy what they're doing. They will learn afterwards. No problem with teaching. Oh, they have to go home with this idea in mind. I mean, there is no way they can leave from here without understanding this. No problem. They go, maybe they think in the night, walking, etc. And then 2 days afterwards or next week, they come, oh, Paco, I understood this, I have this idea, whatever. And if don't, doesn't matter. Maybe 1 month later, one step, and they recognize, oh, and what happened 1 month before, now I can apply. So enjoying the moment, this is the really important thing. And it changed my life. After 2 years, I was so encouraging. I have to learn to teach. No, Veronica can say the same experience. Now we just focus on them enjoying the moment. We try to work with them with learning from defeats. I understand that you are saying learning from unfair defeats.
Yeah.
That is worse, because learning from good defeats, it's really useful. I mean, you must understand why. What did I do bad? What did he did well? I mean, whatever was the substance on the situation. But if it is an affair because he rolled the dice double 6 3 times in a row, and then he won the game, that you were winning the tournament with that, then you want to kill him. I mean, we don't teach that to kids, but we do the first step, is learning from defeats. Once you have learned that, everything, well, not everything, next step is easier. Not easy, but easier. Okay, so back